What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection 2016 horror part 1. So let's get started. So up first we have 28 Days Later. Really good film directed by Danny Boyle from 2003. Great sort of zombie infection movie with Cillian Murphy, Brendan Gleeson. Really cool film. Up next we have 28 Weeks Later, the sequel from 2007. Not as good as the first one, but Robert Carlyle, Rose Byrne, Imogen Poots, not too bad. Up next, also from 2007, we have 30 Days of Night, really cool vampire film set in a Canadian town, really great setting with Josh Hartnett and Melissa George. Okay, up next on 3D Blu-ray we have Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter from 2012. Not a great film, but it had some cool special effects. A couple cool action scenes in that movie. Up next we have one of these Midnight Movies collections that I have with a couple Vincent Price movies from the 70s, The Abominable Dr. Phibes from 1971, and the sequel Dr. Phibes Rises Again with Vincent Price, Joseph Cotton in the first one. Really enjoy these Vincent Price movies from the 60s and 70s. Up next we have American Psycho, classic of course from 2000 with Christian Bale. Really good film, great performance by Bale. Up next we have An American Werewolf in London from 1981, classic directed by John Landis, starring David Naughton, Griffin Dunne, and Jenny Agutter, who actually I found out I'm related to when I watched this film and talked about her. My mom told me she's like a third cousin of mine, something like that, which I didn't know at the time. Okay, up next we have the Amityville Horror. If you can see that from the glare side, from this cool lenticular cover. Yeah, the original film from 1979 with James Brolin, Margot Kidder, and Rod Steiger. Not really a fan of the sequels. The remake was pretty good, but I didn't think it was good enough to get it. Up next we have Anaconda from 1997, definitely a guilty pleasure. Fun movie with Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Jon Voight, Eric Stoltz. Wasn't a fan of the sequels. But I like the first one. Up next we have Arachnophobia, a great movie from 1990 with Jeff Daniels and John Goodman. Great film about spiders that get set loose on a Midwestern town. Up next on Blu-ray we have As Above, So Below. Yeah, really good little horror film from a couple years ago, 2014, set in the catacombs below Paris. Yeah, I really dug that film. Some cool moments in that movie. Up next we have Audition, great Takashi Miike film from 1999, fantastic film, probably my favorite Japanese horror movie. Okay, up next we have The Babadook, really cool Australian horror film from 2014, great performance by Essie Davis. I thought she was fantastic in that film. Up next we have Peter Jackson's Bad Taste from 1987. Yeah, one of his great early gory films. See, I've got a numbered edition, 15,496 out of 50,000. Up next we have Tim Burton's classic Beetlejuice from 1988 with Michael Keaton. Of course, Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, Winona Ryder. Just a fantastic movie. Never gets old, Beetlejuice. Up next we have the Bela Lugosi collection, franchise collection. Yeah, a bunch of great Bela Lugosi films. I mainly got it because of The Black Cat from 1934 and The Raven from 1935. Up next we have Below. Really good film directed by David Twohy from 2002, set on a submarine. Really good little horror thriller. Up next, we have The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock's classic from 1963, of course, with Tippi Hedren, just fantastic, one of Hitchcock's best. Up next, we have Black Sunday, a great Mario Bava film from 1961 with Barbara Still and John Richardson. Up next, we have the Blair Witch Project from 1999. Yeah, really big fan of this movie when it first came out. Of course, it got kind of divided over the years. Since then, wasn't a fan of the sequel, Book of Secrets, or whatever it was called, Book of Shadows, I don't know, one of those. And of course, a new Blair Witch just came out this past weekend. So if you've seen the new one, let me know how that is. I don't know if it really needed to be remade so soon after the first one. Up next, we have Bubba Hotep with the cool Elvis jacket slipcover. Yeah, cool film from, I'm not sure when the year it came out, with Bruce Campbell, Don Coscarelli film. Okay, up next we have Eli Roth's Cabin Fever from 2003. A really cool movie, got some good nudity. Yeah, just kind of a creepy film. Jordan Ladd. Yeah, cool little movie. Up next we have The Cabin in the Woods on Blu-ray. Cool lenticular cover. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fantastic, especially when the monsters all get unleashed when those elevator doors open. Yeah, really cool film from, I guess, 2012 or 2013. Up next, we have Candyman, a great film from 1992 with Virginia Madsen, who I've always been a fan of, and Tony Todd. Okay, up next we have Carrie, the original from 1976. Great film directed by Brian De Palma with Sissy Spacek and John Travolta, just fantastic. And of course, also picked up the remake from 2013 with Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore. It has its moments, the remake. I like Chloe Grace Moretz. I've always liked Julianne Moore, one of my favorite actresses. Okay, up next we have a excuse me, Val Lewton horror double feature, Cat People and The Curse of the Cat People. Yeah, I believe they're coming out with a Criterion Collection edition of Cat People later this year, or maybe that's a different Cat People I'm thinking of, but we'll see. Up next we have The Changeling, a really good film from 1980 with George C. Scott and Trish Vanderveer. Yeah, good haunted house movie, that one. Up next we have Chernobyl Diaries from 2012, I think, on Blu-ray. Yeah, cool little movie, great setting, of course, set in Pripyat, I think is the name of the town where the Chernobyl disaster happened in the 80s, and now the whole place is evacuated, but there's still some people infected over there. Up next we have Cloverfield. Yeah, great film from 2008, one of my rare still books that I have. I really liked 10 Cloverfield Lane from earlier this year with John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, so I'll definitely be picking that up. Okay, up next we have another midnight movie double feature with The Comedy of Terrors and The Raven. I got this one because of The Raven with Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Boris Karloff. Jack Nicholson also in this film from 1963, I believe. Alright, moving on down. Sorry about the coughing. Up next we have The Company of Wolves. Great sort of dreamy horror werewolf movie from 1984, directed by Neil Jordan. I know Jamie, who used to be on here all the time, loves that movie. So if she's watching, that's a shout out for you. Up next we have The Conjuring on Blu-ray from I guess 2014. Yeah, really good film. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I don't think I've seen The Conjuring 2, but I hear that's pretty good as well. Or maybe I have seen The Conjuring too. They're all kind of run the same, these recent horror films. Up next we have The Craft, a good little teen witch movie from 1996. Great soundtrack, really good cast. Fairuza Balk, Robin Tunney, Nev Campbell, and Rachel True. Up next we have Creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954. Part of the Legacy collection, of course, the Universal horror monster movies. Also features the sequels Revenge of the Creature from 1955 and The Creature Walks Among Us from 1956. Alright, up next we have Dark Shadows, directed by Tim Burton on Blu-ray from 2012 with Johnny Depp, Chloe Grace Moretz. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like Johnny Depp's performance in this film. Sort of a quirky movie. Ava Green was good. Yeah, good little movie. Up next on Blu-ray we have Daybreakers from 2011. Yeah, good vampire movie. Sort of a anti vampire film with Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Isabel Lucas, and Sam Neill. Yeah, some really good twists and turns in that film. Up next we have Peter Jackson's Dead Alive from 1992. Lots of great blood and gore, just crazy, really good stuff. Up next we have 2 disc sets, double feature of Dead of Night from 1945 and The Queen of Spades from 1949. Really good old British horror films from the 40s. Up next we have Dead Snow. Yeah, really good Norwegian film from 2009, 2-disc special edition. Really fun about Nazi zombies terrorizing a bunch of college kids on the ski trip. Excuse me. Up next we have Deep Blue Sea from 1999. Really fun shark movie. Great cast: Thomas Jane, LL Cool J, Saffron Burrows, Michael Rappaport, Stellan Skarsgård, and Samuel L. Jackson. Loved the scene with Samuel L. Jackson. Great surprise when I first saw that in the theater. Up next we have the Descent. Yeah, great film directed by Neil Marshall from 2006. Of course, about a bunch of young women exploring caves. Spelunking, if you like. Yeah, just a really cool film, great visuals, and great dialogue, just a great movie. Up next on Blu-ray we have Devil, a good little movie from 2010, produced by M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, cool little film. Up next we have a classic double feature of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the 1932 version. The reason I got this with Frederick March, and also has the 1941 version with Spencer Tracy, Ingrid Bergman, and Lana Turner. Alright, up next we have Dog Soldiers, another great film, directed by Neil Marshall from 2002. Great werewolf movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed that film as well. Okay, up next we have Dracula, the Legacy Collection, of course, the original from 1931 with Bela Lugosi. Of course, features all the sequels as well. Dracula's Daughter, 1936, Son of Dracula in 1943, and House of Dracula from 1945. Of course, also got Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, great film with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. Sure, that goes back in there. That's not gonna work. I'll get to that later. Up next we have Drag Me to Hell from 2008. Fantastic film directed by Sam Raimi with Alison Lohman, who I really liked back in the day, and kind of disappointed she disappeared recently. Justin Long as well. Great ending. Just a really cool film. Up next we have End of Days. Yeah, really good film from 1999 with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Robin Tunney, Gabriel Byrne, really good as the devil. Yeah, I really dug that film. Okay, up next we have the Evil Dead films, the Book of the Dead editions. The first one from 1982. Great film, my favorite of the franchise. Evil Dead 2 from 1987. Sucks as The thing is falling apart here on the spine, and the thing doesn't work anymore when you hit the button, which is a shame. Kind of falling apart, that edition. Up next, we have Army of Darkness, of course, from 1993. Bruce Campbell, just fantastic in these movies. I wasn't a fan of the remake, The Evil Dead, from a couple years ago. Yeah. Up next, we have The Exorcism of Emily Rose from 2005. Yeah, really good film with Tom Wilkinson, Jennifer Carpenter, and Laura Linney. Oh god, I can't get these back in here with these Book of the Dead editions. Okay, up next we have The Exorcist, one of my favorite horror films of all time, of course. Directed by William Friedkin from 1973. Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow. Just fantastic. Alright, up next we have The Fall of the House of Usher. Another one of these Vincent Price midnight movies from 1960, based on the Edgar Allan Poe novel, of course. Up next we have Fallen. Yeah, good little horror film about sort of demons from 1998 with Denzel Washington and John Goodman. I remember when I first saw that in the theater back in the day. Up next we have the Final Destination franchise. The first one from 2000, always liked this film, with Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Tony Todd as well, Sean William Scott in the first one. Okay, Final Destination 2 from 2003, not too bad. Final Destination 3 from 2006. Final Destination, or just The Final Destination, from 2009, and the fifth one from 2011, have on 3D Blu-ray, Final Destination 5. Alright, up next we have The Fly collection. The first one, The Fly, from 1958, great film. Also has the sequels, Return of the Fly and The Curse of the Fly. You may wonder why I don't have The Fly from 1986 with Jeff Goldblum. I don't know why, to be honest. Yeah, I should look into that. Up next we have Frailty, a really good film about demons, again, from 2002 with Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey, who's fantastic in this movie. Yeah, good little film, Frailty. Up next we have Frankenstein, the Legacy Collection again, of course, with Boris Karloff. The first one from 1931, just fantastic. Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel from 1935, is great as well. Also has Son of Frankenstein from 1939, Ghost of Frankenstein 1942, and House of Frankenstein 1944. Up next we have Todd Browning's Freaks from 1932, just a fantastic movie, creepy and weird and just fucking great. Okay, up next we have the Friday the 13th movies. Of course, the first one from 1980, just fantastic. Second one, Friday the 13th, Part 2 from 1981, of course, the first appearance of Jason Voorhees. As we know him, he was in the first one, but as a kid. And then Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D, which is kind of funny, from 1982. Up next, we have Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, which is hilarious since there's about 5 or 6 more movies that come after this. I think this is the one that has Corey Feldman in it, or maybe that's the third one. Or it might be one of the later ones. Anyway, that one from 1984. Okay, Friday the 13th, I'm jumping ahead here. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, from 1985. I think this is the one that has Corey Feldman. I could be off, obviously. Next we have Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. I like these cool lenticular slipcovers on these. Not all of them have it, though, unfortunately. Next we have Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, from 1988. And finally, of the first original ones, we have Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, from 1989. Then we have Jason Goes to Hell from 1993. And finally, we have Jason X from, when this came out now? I think this came out in 2000. Could be off on this one. Anyway, moving on. Up next, we have Fright Night, the original from 1985. Great movie with Chris Sarandon, Roddy McDowall, and Amanda Beers. And I don't have the sequel to that. I know Fright Night Part 2 is a big favorite among the horror community. Very rare DVD. Never seen it. But I do have the sequel from 2012 on 3D Blu-ray with very sad now Anton Yelchin, who passed away recently, and Colin Farrell. Yeah, I dug the remake. I thought it was pretty decent. Okay, up next we have The Frighteners. Yeah, The Frighteners, great Peter Jackson film from 1996 with Michael J. Fox. Up next we have From Dusk Till Dawn from 1998. Yeah, fantastic movie from Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. Great cast: Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Juliette Lewis, Salma Hayek, and Quentin Tarantino himself, of course. Up next we have Frontiers, unrated director's cut, great French horror film from 2007, and I'm going to end on the Fs because I'm over 21 minutes here. Lastly, we have Funny Games from 2008. Really good film with Naomi Watts, Tim Roth, Michael Pitt, and Brady Corbett. Yeah, just a really cool film. So that is Horror Part 1. Up next will be Horror Part 2. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see ya.